Well, Joseph Kechichian is a political analyst and formerly with the RAND Corporation, a defence think tank. Joseph, good to have you on the programme. William Hague, the UK Foreign Secretary, is saying that it would be possible to act without unilateral UN Security Council backing. Other nations don't seem so sure. What's your assessment of that?
Well, it seems that there's been a change in the thinking in several Western capitals. During the past year and a half or 2 years, everyone was talking about the Security Council approval before any decisions were made. But now it seems that after two years of discussions that have not really reached any kind of conclusion, William Hague and the French president and others are talking about NATO trying to rely on a non-UN Security Council mechanism to do something about Syria. I'm not sure whether they will manage to come up with some kind of a joint decision, but that's the thinking at this point.
Yeah, talk about other coalitions, as you say, non-UN coalitions like NATO or Arab League. But wouldn't any action cause possible backlash from those who support the Syrian government, like Russia, China, Iran?
It could be a backlash, but I think that we are in a dilemma at this point because President Obama and other Western powers have during the past year created these red lines saying that if chemical weapons were used, obviously that would be a game changer and they would have to interfere. Mind you, this has nothing to do at this point with Syria. The international community cannot set a precedent by allowing the use of chemical weapons, even though this is not the first time that chemical weapons were used in recent years. But nevertheless, the key question at this point is whether or not a power, we don't know exactly who used these chemical weapons, but let's say a party that uses chemical weapons cannot be left free to behave the way they want to. That's the thinking at this point.
Okay,
but there will be
what action could you take?
Repercussions.
What action could you take that only hurts the regime and not civilians? I mean, for example, and nobody wants boots on the ground, could you take out runways or munitions or even the entire Syrian Air Force?
Well, they certainly could do a great deal of damage. Obviously, they're going to send cruise missiles on chemical facilities or air bases. I would not be surprised if the Turkish Air Force, part of NATO, would be involved heavily in this campaign that is being promised. But the consequences of that would be very serious. Obviously, they can take out the leadership if they would like to. That does not really require boots on the ground. What that requires is a political decision to go ahead and use brutal force, a campaign that would last 3-4 days. Mind you, I think that they pretty much know at this point whether or not these chemical weapons were used by the government or by the rebels. The question is whether they'll let us know as to what it is that they found out.
Joseph, thank you very much indeed for that. Joseph Kechichian speaking to us live from Beirut.